Awesome. Awesome. Welcome to the podcast, the One Student, One Book, One Author Mantra, the Global Readers Circle, the ultimate podcast that is designed to inspire and motivate a lifelong learner and that intentional reader out of every global person. Well, on behalf of our global audience and family, it's my honor to introduce a fine mind, a stand up comic author, a writer, and a massive storyteller on our spotlight. It is my pleasure, Mr. Earl, what to have you on the Guardian Cross podcast. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm
I'm
blessed,
doing
especially
well. How
now.
are you?
I'm good. I'm good, especially
I'm
now
glad.
that you are
I'm
on
glad.
our side.
It's very nice. That's very nice.
Well,
Oh,
before we
hold
start,
on. Make sure I got everything. I got everything.
wow, okay, beautiful. Before we start, we like you to tell us about you. Tell us about Otto L. Watt. Tell us about the life you currently lead and everything in between.
Last time. Hi. I grew up here in the United States since the born in the late 70s. But essentially just kind of, I've worked, got educated here, essentially traveled quite a bit here, a little bit in Turkey, but then came back to the States. I love telling jokes. I love working there, but I've also done a lot of work in the tech industry. So um, I like keeping my mind active. Like I like working on things that keep my head always active. And as long as I'm doing that, I'm happy.
Wow,
And so
wow,
that's I specifically with comedy, but I like writing. Yeah.
wow. Well, we could start with your current read. When did you first realize that books could
Right.
speak to you personally? When did you realize that books could speak to you personally? Let's start from there.
Um, so I started reading very young, largely because my it, it's what my family does, and so we
Wow,
had books lying around the house. There was just um, a lot of easy ways to distract oneself getting through a day by picking up a book and just kind of losing yourself in that space. And I want to say five, six ish, I started picking up books for no other reason than just I liked the act of reading. Also,
hmm,
I had really bad ADD, so it's an easy way to keep a child occupied. And for a creative, my mind is going to draw the pictures. My mind's going to take me to those locations. And so books were just like a never-ending space for that.
so,
And
so,
so
so it seems
that's kind of how it got started. But I didn't start writing. Yeah,
it seems that you
yeah,
close the book, but the lessons follows you around. Wow.
the imageries. Yeah, the images, um, concepts. I used to like reading mystery novels when I was a kid. Um, just something that had a beginning, middle, and an end. I used to like that, just being able to tell the story, seeing what elements of a story at the beginning matter later on, like little things like that. That and
Wow.
movies. I'm a huge fan of movies as well. So for me, books are just
Wow.
movies you could hold in your hand.
Wow. So I like to ask you, for a young audience who'll be streaming this session, would you rather read a book or
Okay.
you would rather watch a movie? Because for me, the books will stick longer with me than the movies. So for you, what works?
I think they both work for me. I think it depends on the detail. If
Hmm.
it's a nice period piece, something that takes place in history, I like being able to pick it up because then I can get all the details. I can get the language. I get a chance to hear more of how people think. But if it's a
Wow.
modern day, if it's current, if it's taking place right now, I might want to see it in a movie so that I can see it and hear it. Some stories
Wow.
just work better on screen. Some stories work better on the page. Um,
Wow.
but I'm a big fan of it in both directions.
So it seems you're a
Yeah,
kinesthetic person,
big fan of it in both
visual
directions.
person. Wow. Awesome. Awesome. Beautiful. So it seems you
I
had
am.
family who would encourage you to read. And it seems from your story that reading was the order of the day. So here is the point
Hmm.
where I like to ask you for our listeners, our streamers
Yeah.
who don't read, people who barely would never read a book past chapter two or share reviews with friends. Well, here is the point where I have to ask you for the love
Right.
of reading, for the love of creativity. When did you stay intentional? I mean,
Right.
when did it become something that you would do every day? If you failed to do for a long time, you would feel guilty. When was this time?
Actually, very much at the beginning. At the beginning,
Mm,
I
mm,
would say that m- uh, as a kid, my head was always a sponge. So for me, I want to know things. I want to absorb information constantly. So
mm,
yeah, for me, very, very beginning. If I didn't read early on, I would get tired. Or I would get very you start feeling like you're missing something when you could be
mm.
digesting something. It's almost like you get hungry,
Beautiful, beautiful. So,
if that makes sense. Yeah,
are you saying
hopefully it makes sense.
that reading has shaped your life in a unique kind of way? And how would you say? What would you say that reading as a culture can happen to any manner of person?
Um, I don't, can you repeat the question real quick? I just want to make sure I get it all.
So as a person, do you
Can
think
you
that?
repeat the question? Oh,
Yeah, yeah, I'm repeating. I said, as a person, do you think that
I got you.
reading has shaped the way you see the world? Do you think it has shaped your life? And do you also
It
think
does.
that it can work for any manner of person, just like it did work for you?
I think I think yes. First off, it did. It just definitely it changed and shaped the way I see the world. Um,
Mm,
if you don't understand a group of people and you want to understand a group of people, find somebody from that community and read what they're writing, read what they care about, read what their fears
mm,
are, read what their
mm,
um,
mm,
because I think we're all shaped by the voice and tongue of others. You can't hear somebody's story and not be affected in some way, shape, or form.
mm,
And then in terms of working for other people, I think it might be the only thing that works for other people. It allows you to be humanized. It allows you to be, uh, people are no longer them. They have a name. They no longer are others. They're now, you may not necessarily always adopt them personally, but you will at least understand where they come from. And I think when people stopped reading the words of others, I think that's when we started having a lot of separation problems.
wow,
But yeah, I think that that's exactly what helped. And that makes a difference. It's a great question,
wow,
by the way.
wow. Thank you very much. Thank you
It's a
very
really good
much.
question.
Thank you very much. Well, for
No problem.
you, let's discuss.
No problem.
You pick
All right.
up a book, you pick up a book, you read this book, and
Yeah.
an idea or
Yeah.
probably a line in this book, you've been going around with it. Would you mind to share with us which of the book you picked up and this idea have stayed with you longer than you would want to remember?
Hmm. Um. So the book Miles by Miles Davis, his autobiography, uh, that was probably I've read it a few times over the years, but that's one of the earliest ones that kind of just stuck with me. Uh,
Wow.
it was an impressive book about how he became a great musician. It had a lot to do with how he was raised, what it was like for him when he first got to New York, what he was trying to accomplish. And one of the things that I found incredibly impressive about him is, as old as he was when he wrote the book, he could remember where and when he was playing certain gigs in which musicians were on stage with him when he was a
Mm,
teenager. And that's
mm,
because there was so much impact in those moments that his mind recorded it, and I could relate to that. And so I think reading that book gave me a sense of there's I'm not alone. I'm not the only type of person who records these moments and
Wow.
keeps them in their mind forever. Makes a
Wow.
difference.
Wow. Wow. Well, it seems you would pass
Yeah,
for a
makes a
reader
big
of books.
difference. It's a great book. It really is. I could probably write a book about my own life in the same way, but
Hmm.
I need to do a few more impressive things first. Need to make sure the book sells.
Wow. Amazing. Amazing. Well, we get to the point on the show where you would have to tell us about your book, Shadow Ball on the Eel.
My book.
Shadow
I
Ball on the Eel. Well, this is
the
one question I like to
yeah,
ask you. This is one question I like to ask you for our audience. If reading is an integral part of your writing ministry, okay, what are you saving? What kind of
right.
problems are you trying to solve with this right?
Ah, very much like I was speaking earlier about wanting to understand people. You
Hmm.
gotta have to hear their stories in their tongue, like in their voice. And I wrote a period piece from 1932, like it takes place in 1932,
Hmm.
and the whole point was the United States, specifically Pittsburgh, where the steel industry is, and still is, but where it was at the time. Uh, it when crimes were committed against certain people, they didn't have the benefit of the police. They couldn't call the police. The police weren't going to come. And the book starts with a kidnapping, and the
Hmm.
family could not go to the police because the police weren't going to care. And who they do go to, and who they do have to count on for justice, and how justice does get handled, and how the
Wow.
investigation is handled by the community at the time. I wanted to be able to tell that story for people who, one, may be taking for Black Americans who may be taking the present day for granted in some ways, and then for other people who could be curious as to how it could feel um, to be somebody that they think that they know, or someone they barely understand, but they don't get it. And so that's what I wanted to do with this book. I wanted to make sure that people could understand what life was like from people who are not in a different time of history, uh, but clear. And the other thing is that because baseball is such a big deal here, the using the Negro leagues that were taking place at the time, and because the weekend that the story takes place is a weekend that actually happened. Uh, so that whole period of time, I'm really working to try to make it visual for the audience that's reading it
Wow.
and give them something they can hold on to.
Wow. Awesome. 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 So you haven't
Thank you.
tell us
Thank you.
how,
Thank you.
how many pages are we expecting in the shadow ball on the yield, and when do you see your next curve? Like, where are you taking us to? When are we expecting your next ride? And how
Oh,
do we get to also find your book? Is it on
okay.
Amazon? Is it on Novel and Barnes? Tell us about how to find your book.
It is. It's on Amazon. It's on Apple Books. It's on Nook. It's on all the platforms. But I think it's 132 pages. 132 pages. Uh oh. I'm in low.
Hello. Sorry, good to have you back. Our internet connection is still. This is
Hey,
Africa.
good to be back.
Okay, sorry, you were
Hi.
about
This is impressive
sharing
still.
that.
Still impressive, my friend.
Okay, you were about sharing with us
So,
where we can find your
uh,
book and how many pages, your next
yeah.
cast.
So
Yeah,
you
I
can,
think that was where I lost you.
as, no, no, it's okay. It's okay. So, I think there's 132 pages in the book. It's not too long of a read. It's a
Wow.
nice, easy read. And, you say, when's my next book? I know what story I want to tell next. I haven't started outlining it yet. I know what story I want to tell. And so
Wow.
I'm keeping my hands on that like a little bit tighter. It started as a play, and I wrote it out as a play, and now I'm converting it over to as a novel.
Wow. Wow. Awesome. Awesome.
And
Awesome.
I'm a big fan of how it was written.
You're a big fan of what? Sorry. Sorry.
Yeah, but hopefully I answered your question. I think I answered all your question, right? How many pages and what I'm writing next? But it's on every
Yeah, and
platform though. It's on all the digitals. So if
wow.
it, it's
Beautiful.
it's
Beautiful.
available on Kindle. It's available on Amazon. It's available digitally for the Nook. It's on Apple Books. If you got an iPad, you can get it there. It's everywhere to be found. I'm really happy with it
Wow.
though. Really proud of it.
Wow. Wow. Well, if you're streaming this, we are onto an amazing and passionate storyteller, the Dobert author of Shadow Ball on the Eel. And just like our tradition is, we are going to be leaving special links on our podcast notes. So you do not need to listen to this session alone. You need to share it with your friends. You need to share it with your family. Obviously, Dr. Hell what to be pleased to take you by your hands. Well, if you're streaming this, don't forget that you become the books you read and the people that you meet. Dr. Hell what got you covered. Well, Otto L, well, we get to this part of the show where you
Yes.
will take us into the library. This part of the show where you have to name 10 books, 10 books that will make that huge difference for
And
you, 10 books that you would love to reread, 10 books you would want to share a review and recommend for any global person. Well, I don't know. Would you be willing to take this challenge?
I would.
Wow, well, this
I
is the
would.
rule. You
I am
get
ready.
to, you ready?
I am ready.
Well,
You want to hear the books?
you get to mention the book and the name of the author, and you also get to talk about the ones that really strike a chord for you.
Um, Current book that I would give to any of my friends. Uh, I feel like I should tap dance right now before he comes back. I should come up with like a new. No, I probably won't talk or
But
dance or something like that. No, I probably won't. But I am enjoying the interview. Got such a good spirit. Uh,
why? This will be so bad.
but I am definitely ready for this 10 book challenge.
Author Earl, are you there?
I am. I'm here.
Good. Author Earl, good to have you back.
Good to be back.
Well, this is Africa, and you know that our network can be so most times. But I'm happy that you find the passion to put the energy and efforts to make this work. Thank you very much.
Oh no, it's my pleasure. Very much my
Okay,
pleasure.
I feel like you are, and we were just about listening to your 10 books challenge, the 10 books you would recommend, the 10 books you would reread.
Yeah. Yes. First one, the autobiography of Malcolm X by Alex Haley. Well,
Mm-hmm.
with Alex Haley. Miles by Miles Davis, the book that affected me a lot as a child. For anybody who's a creative, who writes or paints or does music or expresses themselves any way creatively, there's a book called The Creative Act by Rick Rubin. Trying to think who else is there. There's Sonny's Blues by James Baldwin, which is a favorite of mine. Then there's Black Man White House by D.L. Hughley, another stand-up comedian who I have a great deal of respect for. There's Born Standing Up by Steve Martin. There's Open by Andre Agassi, a tennis great. Uh, there's Lorne by Susan Morrison. And there's Cinema Speculation by Quentin Tarantino. But those are my 10
Wow.
books. When I tell you,
Wow.
it was not hard at all for me to write these books down.
Mm. Tell us why.
Yeah, it was not hard at all. Largely because they have a great deal. Oh, and actually, the last one, 4 Hour Work Week. I'm a big fan of that book too. Um, because I read a lot, a lot,
Mm.
and almost every one of these stories is either a biography or it tells the behind the scenes story behind something great, behind someone else's great creativity, someone else's great expressions. And I just want to be better at what I do. I want to be better at the things that I create. I want to be a better vessel for whatever images I'm given,
Wow.
if that makes sense.
Wow. Well, I'm praying that the God of internet will be on our side so our audience get to stream and listen to this epochal and phenomenal session
Yes,
with
I
an amazing, passionate storyteller, El Well, El it is amazing. I'm so honored personally to have you in the spotlight. But before you go, I'd like you to share your last words with our audience. What would you say to this person who is yet to read a book? What would you say to this person who has a chance and this person has refused to read a book? And what would you say to the downtrodden? I'm sure you can put much smiles on their face. Leave us your last word, or hell.
I think that any place you can ever want to be, anything you could ever want to learn, anything you could ever anything you'd ever want to take part in yourself, participate in. The answers are inside books. You can probably find it online somewhere as well, but there's nothing like holding it in your hand and knowing that the data is there to be had. Any place you want to go, there's a book that'll take you there. Anything you want to know, there's a book that'll teach it to you. But no, the host is amazing. His spirit's phenomenal. I'm very grateful to be a part of this. And but definitely start with Miles by Miles Davis. Read Sonny's Blues by James Baldwin. Just you got to read those. Those are great books.
Awesome.
All
Awesome.
right.
Well, thank you very much,
Thank
Otohel.
you.
Thank you very much. I don't know, the God of internet is really against us today, but I do
No,
hope
I
that
think actually You've blessed me
Listeners,
today. Thank you so very much.
I do hope that our streamers and our global family will have reflections to do with this sessions because
Yeah,
you said something very outstanding. You shared something that
such an amazing spirit.
is a bedrock of our mission. That all the answers, no matter. Okay, Otto L, are you there? I think you're still here, I guess.
I am. I am still here. I am still here. But you're doing well. I'm glad.